Whether you're contemplating a move, planning a visit, or even just curious about what makes the fabulous city of Las Vegas tick, today we're going to give you a full rundown on Las Vegas.
And what it's truly like to live here in Las Vegas. This city is unlike any other city in Nevada or even in the United States in general. Living here is something it's a wild but different experience. It's also an amazing experience. So we're going to take you around Las Vegas. We're going to show you what it's like to have 360 days of sunshine and why everybody loves living in Las Vegas.
So one of the cool things about actually living in Las Vegas is it really does offer a unique lifestyle. We sort of touched on it a little bit earlier when we were down at the craziness near the Strip and the Welcome to Las Vegas sign. But it really does offer a lifestyle like no other, in my opinion. Yes, there's some amazing cities in this country, but there's nothing really that offers everything that Vegas offers. Obviously, we have the Strip, which is, what makes Vegas the entertainment capital of the world. You've got all of the casinos, nightclubs, you've got the different types of shows, so many different comedy clubs, so many artists that come and do residency here. Whatever your form of entertainment is. I used to think Vegas was just about the gambling culture, and then when I've lived here, I've actually realized, my gosh, there's just so much more to do here that when you embrace it, you're just never bored. On top of that, you have a lot of other outdoor stuff as well, like Lake Las Vegas is a really great place to go and chill out, really peaceful sort of scenery, and obviously being by the water is also good. Whilst I remember as well, guys, I forgot to introduce my business partner here, Ryan. Some of you have seen me on my other channel I have with Ryan, my home tours channel. Ryan's going to be appearing on this channel more often as well and giving you more of an insight. He also recently moved to Vegas with his family, moving from Hawaii. So he's going to give you another bit of insight as well. And between the two of us, you got the best of both worlds. What else, Ryan, can you say about the lifestyle here?
Well, there's a reason that Las Vegas has become the #2 city that people are relocating to. And that was recently, as of a report this past year, only behind Houston, Texas. Reason being is because, like you said, there's so much more to offer. We get in this mindset that it's all about the Strip and it's all this gambling and drinking culture. And yes, this is Green Valley Casino right behind us. They are everywhere because gambling is legal in the state, but it's not all about that. I actually live on the other side of the Las Vegas Valley that does offer a completely different, unique lifestyle than where he lives down in Henderson. I live up in the northwest in the Sky Canyon area, which is more mountainous, more lodging style. Totally different vibe up there, and that's something we want to touch on with the unique lifestyle, because it's not just about the Strip. Even though if you don't live in Vegas, from what I've gathered with my time living here a few years now, everybody thinks that we live in condos on the Strip and that's all we do is go downstairs and gamble and go back up to our room. No, not the case at all. The suburbs completely different. And to touch on where I live too, so I live up in Sky Canyon, about 30 minutes from Mount Charleston, and then 30 minutes from the Strip. So I'm like that halfway point. But like I said, lifestyle is completely different. Houses look completely different. Area looks completely different. The elevation is completely different. Snowing up there. I can see Mount Charleston from my driveway. So we always have access to the skiing, the hiking, and that's part of it too, is our lifestyle. There's so much outdoors things you can do in Vegas that will surprise you. With the hiking, with the skiing, with the lakes, right? Lake Las Vegas, Lake Mead, going out there and jumping on a boat, a jet ski, the paddleboard. There's so many other things to do around the valley other than just the Strip. Even when I moved here, I was like, oh, here we go. It's just, let's go to the casino or gamble. It's like, no, there's so many other things you can do. Even down there in Henderson, you guys got tons of parks and everything down there too. Talk about that, like all the kid and friendly things that are down there. Yeah,
so many parks. If you like an active lifestyle and being outside, I'm going to touch on maybe the weather a little bit later, but obviously having over 300 days of sunshine. Today it's coming up to the end of October. It's 7 degrees temperature. I'm in a t-shirt and shorts. It's crazy how good the temperature is. And if you like being outdoors and you like whether walking, whether cycling, whether being outdoors with your dog, Ryan's always out walking his dog up in Sky Canyon, whether you like being outdoors with your family, there's just so many great things to do outdoor. Obviously Henderson has over 60 parks and still new parks being built within the likes of Cadence, and where I live in Inspirada, there's still new parks coming there. But even if parks aren't your things, there's just so many things to be outdoors and enjoying the weather. Yes, the summer can get a little bit hot, but you can still go out in the evening or the early morning before the temperatures or after the temperatures and still really enjoy those outdoor things. There's some great hiking trails in Henderson as well to enjoy. So whatever it is, I think the key message is whatever your form of entertainment is, whether it's playing sports, there's so many, the sport fields here are so amazing as well. And then we haven't touched on the live sport as well as entertainment. This guy here has become a closet Golden Knights fan. He's always talking about the Golden Knights. He's got it on his plate on his car now. He's become a big fan of hockey, which I don't think they had in Hawaii so much. Then you've got the Raiders, obviously, who are doing awful when it comes to football. There's the A's are going to be moving here. The baseball team, the Oakland A's, are going to be moving here. And then obviously LeBron is going to have his basketball franchise here, and this guy is the biggest basketball fan I know, so I know he's excited about that. All of that live sport in a city where it only takes probably 30 minutes from wherever you're at to get to the majority of those events. I genuinely, I don't think there's any other city like it.
Definitely not. And so there's so much more. Just know lifestyle is not all about living on the Strip.
Another great thing about the Las Vegas area is the wide variety of different types of communities, different type of housing options. Housing options in terms of if you're looking for just a condo, maybe you want to be in a luxury condo, maybe you like the security and the lock up and leave that a condo offers you. Maybe you want to be in a townhome. You don't want something that's going to be high maintenance. Maybe you want a single family home, but you want a single story home. Maybe you don't want those knees creaking as you go up and down the stairs, like what happens to Ryan on some of our home tours. Or maybe you want a two-story home. There's just such a wide variety of home styles and home ages. Vegas isn't really an old city. Parts of it can be old, but actually the majority of communities are not that old. So depending on what style of home you want, maybe you want something more mature and the landscaping inside the community, and then your home, you don't mind if it is a little bit older as well. Or maybe you want something more modern. There's just such an array of options, depending on what your budget is and what your tastes are. And then with that, there's going to be so many different communities. They might look the same sometimes visually, but then when you look at the nuances between them, where they're located, how close they are to amenities, what amenities they offer, if there's a HOA, there's just going to be so many different varieties that I really believe that anyone can find a home that they're going to love in this city.
I definitely agree with you there. Like, you just see us in the background. We're in Green Valley walking through this neighborhood. There's single-story homes. There's massive two-story homes. They're not all cookie cutter. Not every house looks the same. Some have the brick in the front, some completely stucco, right? But when it comes to that, like you said, there's just so many options. If you want that condo on the Strip or near the Strip and live that lifestyle, you can definitely do that. If you want to get out to the suburban areas, which we've touched on, the mountains that surround Vegas, but the different areas and how those different communities look. Again, Inspirada looks completely different than my neighborhood. It's not exactly the same. Granted, they're only, so far apart and adjacent across the city of Las Vegas, but there's so many different options when it comes to neighborhoods, gated, non-gated, in an HOA, not in an HOA, which we know is a huge deal because on our home tours channel, that's some of the biggest comments we get. All right, and you can clearly see the difference when it does come to, hey, you're driving through, you can literally drive across the street. You'll be in a non-HOA community and then drive across the street, be in an HOA community and really see the difference there. But this beautiful neighborhood that we're walking through right now, and I love all the variety in this neighborhood too. So tons of housing options, tons of different neighborhoods, communities. Check out our home tours channel again if you want to see some homes in other communities too. On this channel, we're taking you around some just like this. We want to show you guys all this stuff to make sure you really get the visuals and the feels that you're looking for when it comes to these options. We came over to this park right here, Paseo Verde Park right behind us, but as we walk away, we're going to talk to you guys about location and transportation. That is one of the biggest things here. As far as location goes, the Strip. Strip is the hub. It's the center of attention, really. But when it comes to location for you and trying to figure out where you may want to live, that's going to be really dependent on a lot of it, job and lifestyle. What kind of job do you have? Where is that job located? How fast do you want to get to work, or do you not mind a further drive? And again, lifestyle, like we talked about. Up in Sky Canyon, up in the Northwest, it's different than Summerlin, and it's different down in Henderson. It's different down in the Southwest, all right? Lifestyle is completely different, and that's why that location matters. Now, when we talk about transportation, okay, this is when I moved here a few years ago, this is one of the things that I was really, really happy with. Coming from Hawaii, almost got hit by a tree. Coming from Hawaii, Hawaii's traffic is horrendous. It's the worst. It's been ranked as some of the worst in the nation. Now, traffic in Vegas, mainly around the Strip. That's not to say that there's not traffic everywhere else, but it is mainly around the Strip, okay? So what I found very easy was the freeway system here in Vegas. You have the 15, and then you have the 95, which is now called the I-11, which they have just recently changed. It is now the I-11. But you have the 215, which kind of basically just goes around in like a C, because it doesn't go all the way through the east side of Las Vegas. Not much does, because you'll find out why later. But it's like a C that goes around the 215. So if you have access to these freeways and you can get to these freeways within 5 to 10 minutes of your drive, that's gonna cut so much more off. I found it really easy because I live 5 minutes from a 95 and a 215, so I can get to those very quickly, and then most of my drives are typically 15 to 30 minutes. The longest drive I had was when we went out to Lake Las Vegas, but that was only 45 minutes. Not that bad considering all the other factors. What else is there about transportation that they need to know about?
Yeah, I mean, you obviously touched on the way the freeway system works, and that makes everything so convenient. What isn't convenient is public transport. I think, to put it bluntly, I think the public transport in Vegas sucks. I mean, I come from a city in the UK where public transport was actually more economical to get around than it was to drive. And I know there's a lot of other cities and states that have really good public transport systems. In Vegas, though, it just doesn't seem to spread out enough and cover a lot of the suburbs. So if you're moving here and you don't have a car and you're thinking of living in one of the peaceful suburban sort of areas, then it's going to be very hard to get to maybe your place of work, or if you're studying, or even just getting around. It is going to be very difficult. You're going to probably want to be more central, which isn't always the most ideal place to potentially be living. I used to work with someone in Starbucks, and they lived in Henderson, worked in Henderson, but they had to get 2 different buses. And if they missed one of the crossovers, they were delayed by another hour. And that was like in the same, like, it wasn't even that far, but it's just how bad the buses are.
Yep.
And we don't have like a really good tram system or anything like that.
No.
So on one hand, the stuff Ryan said is amazing, and it's so easy to, if you're driving, it's just so easy to get anywhere.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if you don't have a car, it can be you can almost feel very isolated. There are communities like where we are now in Green Valley Ranch, which are walkable to a lot of the stores that we were in by Green Valley at the district. But then there's other communities which aren't going to be walkable. So you sort of need to factor that in as well, in my opinion.
And if you live up, like I said, if you live up where I live, I see the buses, but I don't see many people using them because the public transportation system is just not that great here in Vegas. But like you said, if you have a car and you have that easy access to the freeway, you're gonna have a nice, easy time getting around Vegas.
So now let's start talking about the economic strength of Las Vegas, because that's also important when you're investing in a home. You're also investing in the city, right? You're not just investing in that house, it's the longer project as well, essentially, because it's a home is always an investment. Even if you're living in it, it's an investment. Las Vegas is one of the strongest economies in the whole of the country. Actually, I was reading a report recently that said unemployment in the city is still hovering below 4%, which is way below the national average. And I'll put that link up there so you can see it as well. But then when you deep dive it even more, you can see why that's the case. Obviously, hospitality is a big player and always will be a big player because there's a lot of tourism that come here for the entertainment options that we've already mentioned. But what happened during COVID when everything shut down is that actually showed the city officials that they can't just rely on those things, because anything can happen and wipe that out, and then that's no money that's going to be coming in. I don't know if you remember those pictures of the strip being completely deserted, completely empty. It looked quite eerie, to be honest.
Yeah, I did.
And it was scary, but that was no money also coming into the pockets of the state and city officials. So what they've tried to do then is diversify the options here. So there's so many things now going on commercially that's going to keep that economic strength going strong. I keep getting asked as well about economy and crashes and bubbles and things like that. And I don't think anywhere is immune, but I think Vegas will always be above the national curve because of the economy strength here. When you look at things like the movie studios that have been approved to move here as well, it's not going to be like a Hollywood, so to speak, but it is going to add more to our strength of our economy. There's so many new medical facilities opening up in the city, like world-class medical facilities. We're a business-friendly city as well. We have very little taxes. Obviously, we have the federal taxes, but from a state level, we're very tax-friendly, and they're making it even more appealing to start business. They're very business-orientated here. They're going after the IT crowd and those type of things in Silicon Valley as well, and getting a lot of the smaller ones here first to try and catch some of those bigger ones. I genuinely believe the economic landscape in Vegas in the next 10 years is going to change dramatically for the better. What would you say, Ryan?
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, yes, we rely heavily on the tourist economy and things like that, but like we talked about with development, the housing boom. There's how, like, if you check out our home tours, we are always going to see new homes, new communities, and those types of things. And they're developing. But like he talked about, the studios, the sports teams, so many jobs being created. We have such a strong economic condition out here that it's just, Vegas is a thriving city. So Pete hit a lot of it. I don't need to beat a dead horse. He hit a lot of that for you, but we do have one of the biggest, best thriving economies here in the United States. Vegas truly is a place for everyone. And when we say everyone, we literally mean everyone. It is a melting pot like no other. There's only 2 other places I've lived where they were huge melting pots and kind of comparable, and that would be Hawaii or Miami down there in South Florida area. But Vegas being a place for everyone, we're talking families, we're talking young business professionals, we got all the cultural diversity, we got entertainers, athletes, all that type of stuff. It's insane. As we're right here by Paseo Park, right? We were talking about family friendly, tons of parks. How many parks did you say were in Henderson earlier?
I think it's close to 60 and more coming on the way as well.
Yeah, that's insane stuff going on there. What else would you say? I mean, because for me, like, I know just even sometimes being on the Strip, you can hear like 6 different languages right away. And I know that's a tourist heavy spot, but it's also in general, just the amount of cultures and people coming from all over. Because like, even for the few years that I've been here, I've met less than 20 people that are actually born and raised in Vegas.
Yeah, that's the key. There's not many Las Vegas natives. A lot of us have transplanted or moved in from somewhere. Myself and Ryan are 2 good examples of that. We're not originally from Vegas, and it is what makes it easier to settle in, is that you're always going to be able to find your niche, your community, because it's not just a one size fits all. A lot of people have moved here from all over, not just the country, but actually some people have moved from other parts of the world as well. And it really brings, it's great for that fitting in, but it also brings a lot of great diversity here as well in terms of some of the businesses that have opened up. We've already discussed how business friendly the city of Las Vegas and Henderson are. Well, a lot of those people that have moved here as immigrants maybe have added more to the business side as well, and open up cultural to them as well. It's great for kids to be mixing with different cultures. Obviously, myself and Ryan are both parents, so I know it's great for my kids mixing with loads of different cultures as well. And then talking about kids, one of the misconceptions I had was like, what are the kids going to do? It's not really a family-friendly place. Like, why would you want to raise your kids in Las Vegas? It's just like, why would you do that? Now that I'm here and living here, I've already seen my kids thrive and get better and better, and they're becoming more outgoing, they're becoming more confident in themselves, they're trying new things that they wouldn't normally try, whether that's different foods, different sports, different extracurricular activities. So I think from a parent's point of view, and I always come across these videos from a parent perspective a lot because it's very dear to my heart. From a parent's perspective, there's just so many great things for the kids to do here as well.
It definitely is.
I mean, yes, you have got the Strip and the temptations there as they get older, but I also believe if you're a strong parent, then the kids are going to shy away from that and more towards what you're guiding them towards. And we love being outdoors. That's what we love doing. We love being in the parks, in the splash pads, in the water parks, playing in the football fields, whatever it is. We just love being outdoors, and the amount of things to do outdoors in Vegas is phenomenal. But then there's so many indoor play centers for the kids. There's Wally Wombats, Chuck E. Cheese, there's Uptown Jungle, Discovery Museum. I mean, there's probably even more that I can't even think of off the top of my head, but there's just always something to do with the kids. Our kids never get bored because there's just always something to do. And I think that's one of the things that people forget about Vegas, especially when you come here as a tourist and you're just on the Strip. There's actually, even on the Strip, Circus has got an arcade in there as well. There's other things to do within some of those casinos.
Fun Dungeon in Excalibur.
You actually opened my eyes to it as well, but some of the casinos have the Kids Quest as well. And my daughter, we took her there for the first time. She loved it. She didn't even want us to pick her up. And I know your son loves it in the Kids Quest in the casino as well. They have some, and it's all like age appropriate stuff and great fun. There's just, I don't know, for me there's just so much to do as a family here, which I love. Yeah,
and I'll say one last thing about the Strip too, as far as with the kids. It's almost like for me in Hawaii, like we're numb to the scenery and we're numb to the sunrises and the beaches. And from what I've gathered here in Vegas, it's almost like the kids become numb to the gambling in the Strip. It's just like, it's there, but it's not like their primary thing, And same thing with like living down in South Florida. It was like Miami is cool, but it's almost like when you grow up, you're just numb to it. Or when you're around enough, it's there. So don't really take that into like too heavy, oh my God, I can't raise kids because of the Strip, right? That's just totally untrue. And they are trying to get rid of that stigma and everything like that. But Las Vegas, there it is, truly a place for everyone.
Okay guys, we can't obviously show you everything and compact it into one video. There's so many other great things to know about in an A to Z guide of living in Las Vegas. That's why there are more videos on my channel. If you haven't seen them already, some are going to pop up around here on the screen, so just pop on it and have a look at those as well, and they'll help you more with the communities and some of the pros and cons, cost of living, everything else that goes into living in this amazing city. So definitely take a deep dive, and then when you're ready, if you are considering moving to Las Vegas or Henderson, please do get in touch. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, we can jump on a Zoom call, send me an email. All of the details for those are going to be right there. So however you're comfortable, whenever you're ready, I'd love to look after you on your move here as well. And if you have enjoyed this content, please don't forget to like and subscribe and tap on that bell for notifications, because we're going to be sending out more content. Ryan's going to be jumping on the videos and giving a better perspective as well. So we're going to be improving the content even more. Hopefully you've enjoyed what you see, and then we'll see you on the next one.